G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the northwest side of the map in the colour teal, playing as the Chinese. It's Crackety here. Take a look at that beautiful little nest of bees, that little knob right there in the centre of the town centre. On the other side of the map though, in the colour yellow, down towards the south, a little bit of a weird spawn we've got today. It's going to be Civilzations on the Holy Roman Empire in that golden yellow, that beautiful sun-like yellow. It keeps you warm a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about this spawn. Look at this. It feels awkward. You know, one of the things I noticed when I first played this map, Marshland, I said to myself, all right, well, I've spawned here, so there's a good chance my enemy has spawned somewhere around this spot. And I went and I looked for them. I could not find them at all. And then I think I lost my scout because I just ran them into the town center. Wasn't expecting the TC where it was. You could really see that, you know, that's probably the same thing. Let's take a look at Civilzations. So from Civilzations' perspective, you'd think your enemy, Crackety, would be somewhere up here. And that is just not the case. Completely, I guess maybe not that far, but I mean, it's relatively close. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, we're here. Before we get into it though, let's talk a little bit about tonight. An hour after this video goes live, EGC TV's tournament is underway. I hope you guys checked it out last night. If you didn't, that's okay, because it's going to be up and running tonight as well. It's going to be the Call to Arms, so make sure you check it out. Some huge names are returning, including the Mister. That's right, he is back. He's off the farmland and back onto the keyboard. I'm excited to see what he's going to be bringing in this tournament, though, because, well, there's plenty more tournaments coming. Of course, we talked about it in the last video. The golden age of Age of Empires 4 is upon us. There's going to be a lot of good stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. And I tell you what, you'll notice there's been a little bit of an uptick in the content, the schedule, and that's just largely because I'm passionate about Age of Empires 4, and I'm finally getting my head back into the game. It takes some time, though. It takes some time. I think like every game that we play, we kind of ebb and flow between it. You know, there's always those games that you'll go back to for those people that that like MMOs. I'm sure WoW will be one of them. You know, the expansion pack comes out, and you sit down there and you play with that core group of friends, and you go maybe a week or maybe a month or maybe even a couple of months, and then eventually you get bored of it and you just go and you play something else, but you come back around. And I guess for me, I wouldn't say that that's Age of Empires 4, but I know a lot of people will be returning with the announcement of the expansion pack, so hopefully we'll be able to keep them around because, well, there's going to be some juicy stuff on the horizon. I wish I could say more, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, age ups are coming through. Ark and Chapel on the south side of the map. On the north side of the map, we've got the Imperial Academy coming down here for Crackety here. Let's take a look at this Ark and Chapel. Give it a rating. Give it a rating. Now, obviously it doesn't have the gold. Gold's all the way on the backside here. This is actually a really good Ark and Chapel. Hits the wood, hits the stone, and they're immediately adjacent as well. He's got the berries, which aren't the best, but you are playing the Holy Roman Empire, which means you've got that extra gathering speed. 7 villagers working away on that. 3 minutes and 20 seconds yet to cross over, but it's going to be a pretty early age up. Let's check in over on the other side, though, and see how Crackety's placement of this Imperial Academy is. It looks like he's going to hit the mining camp, hits the mill, and will definitely hit all of the wood gathering. So both really, really good landmark placements coming out of these guys. And keep in mind, both of these guys will be playing in EGC TV's event tonight. So make sure you go check it out. Prelate jumps in. 3 minutes 40 into the game. A lot of villagers here on wood. I suspect we're going to be seeing a second town center coming up shortly here for Civilzations, as would be the expectation when you are bordering on the stone outcropping. You know, what's the old saying when God gives you lemons, or when you're given lemons, make lemonade? I feel like that's really what we're kind of seeing here. You know, if you've got the spawn for it, well, you might as well take it. Age up comes through on the other side, though. Let's ride on board with Crackety for a bit, see how he's doing. And let's talk a little bit about this matchup, because this matchup is one of those matchups I just cannot stand it. It is one of the worst matchups in the game. Look, it's gotten a little bit better recently, but it's still pretty tough from the Chinese perspective. The Holy Roman Empire get to do a lot of things that the Chinese have to react to. So as an example, you're always one step behind with the Chinese against the Holy Roman Empire. You go for 2 TCs, you go for a fast castle, you're always going to be behind on picking up the relics. You know, you finally react to the knights that are in your base, and now all of a sudden the enemy's up to Imperial Age. So there's so many levels to this. So I think for me, the big thing about this matchup is that you need to do something that's outside of the box as the Chinese. You can't play standard. If you look to play 2 TC Song Dynasty into a fast castle, you're just going to get run over. And that hurts a lot as the Chinese, because that's, you know, that's your bread and butter. That is what the civilization is really built for. But we do see nice little spot that he's got in here Got the third Imperial official out now, going to start that supervising. He's got the triple supervision going right now. Fourth one about to come out into Imperial examinations. This is a bit of an interesting strategy. I don't think I've seen this before coming out from Crackety, especially from, well, obviously, especially from Crackety, but from anybody. I don't think I've ever seen this. Normally, when it comes to this this technology, this is normally a little bit of a mid-game technology, something that isn't picked up to around the 15-minute mark. This is coming in at 5 minutes. And it's a little bit wild, right? Because there's not a lot of, I said there's not a lot. Oh, he's doing something that's really smart. He's picking up all of the technologies available at these buildings, and that's going to give him a huge amount of tax gold. But you can't really catch that tax gold simply because you don't have the ability to pick it all up. You just go on cooldown too quickly. You can see right here 40 gold, but when you consider that 14 villagers are here dropping off this tax every time, it's generating more tax than you can actually drop off. But once you get this technology, you can actually start to pick up that tax, and we can see that he's doing a really good job on the rotation. This one here should be able to pick up the 80. Did he get 80? He got 78. I hope he's going to manually drop it off. Yeah, good. Because you want to know something? The Imperial official would have just walked down here and been like, oh, I'll pick up 2 and put you on cooldown for 15 seconds. All right, well, it looks like we've got our first units coming out from Kiljati. He may be looking to play a little bit of a feudal age here. He is notoriously aggressive, Kiljati is, but now that stable going to be coming down for Crackety, and Crackety's lost the gold mine. But I don't really think this is a huge worry for him, just mainly because he's got this passive gold coming through right now from these Imperial officials. The one thing to note, though, he did have a 4th Imperial official who's just going to kind of chill out idle on the stable for the moment. Everything else is being supervised up, though. Let's ride on board with Kiljati as those units continue to move outside the base. Crackety here beginning to push through. We'll find those villagers. Crackety going to have to jump into the town center. He's going to have to leg it, though. He's taking quite a few hits here. You can see underneath the TC. Keep in mind there's no Barbican here. Imperial official might be in trouble. These are expensive to lose. You want to avoid losing them at all costs. But one of them does go down. That's a pretty big loss. Now villagers on the wood line. Gonna also have to make a run for it. It looks like he hasn't picked up the upgrade yet for textiles just yet and doesn't even have it in queue. Instead, those villagers are going to turn around and look to try and do some damage towards the horsemen. We'll be able to find a villager kill there as well. So at the moment, it's honestly not a terrible trade for Crackety. He lost an Imperial official, which might hurt, or you might think that it hurts, but the reality is it doesn't. I prefer to lose my Imperial officials than my villagers. And the reason is this. If I lose a villager, that puts me behind on my town center. That means that I'm that one villager behind for the rest of the game. If I lose an Imperial official, I just remake them from the Imperial Academy, and I am straight back up to speed where I was. I just keep on rolling, baby. So I really don't mind it. And of course, it's a bit more expensive, but you don't really care about that expense. What you care about is that tempo. And obviously, losing the villagers is going to hurt. But the age up now going to be coming through from Crackety. So really just sticking to a one-base play. Really interesting style coming out from him where he's looking to try and just pick up a lot of these upgrades. Some of the upgrades he's obviously missed out on, but you can see that he's picked up both of the early wood gathering upgrades. He's picked up his mining upgrade. He's also picked up both of his food upgrades, with the exception of that survival techniques, of course, yet to move out towards these deer patches. Too far, but let's check in over on that south side. We talked earlier about Kiljati and the prospect of a second town center. The fact that, you know, when you're given lemons, you make lemonade, but take a look at this. Kiljati, he's given lemons and he's just decided, well, I'm going to make gin and tonic. I don't know. What do you make with, what else can you make with lemons? I know lemonade, that's it. Lemon cheesecake, that's what you can. And I've talked about this before. I'm going to bring it up again because this is an important point. Objectively, the best type of cake is a cheesecake, and the best type of cheesecake is a lemon cheesecake. Don't at me, don't write a comment about no, it's not. I don't care what you've got to say. I'm telling you right now, I am an authority on cheesecakes, and you can talk to my cousin, Chantel. She makes the best cheesecakes. Every Christmas, I go back to my hometown. I send her a text message like a month out. I'm like, hey, just putting the order in for my usual cheesecakes, and you know, we talk in lemons. So she's like, you want a 12er? I'm like, nah, push it up. Let's do a 16er. 16 lemons in a single cheesecake. Absolutely love it. Shout out to Shaz. I don't think Shaz watches the videos, but if she does, I hope you're doing well, Shaz. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this castle age that's come through, because now we've got the Lancers out, and the Lancers are going to look to turn the tide quickly here up against this 2-unit composition here. Horsemen together with archers, obviously a really powerful combination, with the exception of the fact that, well, armored cavalry does pretty well against it. Spearmen going to be coming out here. Whether or not Crackety's going to be able to spot that out or not is a different matter, but take a look at this. We've got the Monk in the back that might get picked off. Spearman will indeed get picked out as well. So it looks like he's going to be trading a Monk for a couple of Spearmen. Monk? I don't know. You tell me. TV show. Anyway, Crackety managing to hold this on pretty well. Villager counts pretty even Stevens as well, despite losing out a fair bit of economic units or worker kills. But take a look at that. Just beautiful control from Crackety, yet to lose a single unit. So can always bring these back as well and look to try and get them healed up. Kiljadi now going to be thinking about transitioning into the castle age, has eaten through all of this food on the front of the base, still got the Archon Chapel with the Prelate inside, but might have to think about moving it over towards this east side. Definitely going to be the right call. Outpost is over here. But this is always a little bit of a tough spot when your enemy's castle age, you're in feudal age, because you want to get up to the castle age as well to try and deal with these lancers. But at the same time, you need to make sure you don't die to these non-stop lancer raids that are going to be coming through here. So one of the big things for Kiljadi is probably looking to get out a couple more spearmen and then aging up at the same time. But behind this, we do start to hear relics are being picked up. Let's ride on board with Crackety and see how he's doing as he is pumping out non-stop monastery monks from the monastery. So we've already seen one. I've seen two. That's going to be the third one. And he's on the way back now. He's got the relic in hand. Could be looking for a Wallalol if he so pleased. Not a whole bunch of units here, but going to be turning the tide. He's going to be careful to bring those lancers back. Only 9 health on them. You ideally want to keep them alive because at the end of the day, these monks, they will just come back and they'll just be chilling out. Looks like the scout does go down on that south side. Control for Crackety is going to be really good if he wants to make these units count. Numbers are starting to look good here as well, and that's the great thing about playing from the castle age up against a feudal age player, is that you can pretty much just go 100% Lancer, and there's not a lot your enemy can do. You can outrun them, outposition them, and if you want to fight them, well, you get to pick when you fight. Charges come through. First of the horsemen going to be going down. He's going to be careful not to take too much damage here from the spears. Looks like he's going to be losing out 2 of the lancers already. Third one starting to get focused down. Needs to make sure he pulls these low health lancers back, but is it even going to matter at this point? No upgrades coming through from that blacksmith. It means only 1 damage a pop coming in. Spearman trying to work his magic. Isn't going to be able to find it, and Crackety cleans up the enemy army and only loses 2 of the knights, 2 of the lancers for his trouble. Barbican was going to go down over on this east side, but looks like Crackety's decided against it, and I think that's probably the right call, because when you think about it from the perspective of Crackety, he's got map control now. He's got access to the Lancer. He's picking up all the relics as a result. It means he's got 100% control here, so he doesn't need to go for the Barbican. Instead, he says, I'm going to go for the Imperial Palace. I don't care about no Song Dynasty. This game ain't about songs. This is a game about, well, Yuan. That's what it's going to be about. This is going to start to get really interesting here, because I don't think I've ever seen someone go straight to Yuan Dynasty. But looks like the pushback going to happen. Regnitz Cathedral has come out for Kiljadi. Does he have prelates in position? I guess that's going to be a question we'll have to look at a little bit later, because the spears are going to be out looking to defend against the Lancer raid that comes through. Only the 2 of them going to be going down here. Still some decent numbers. Outpost yet to receive any emplacements, but now in the castle age, you'll be most likely expecting to see that Springald emplacement. The last relic on the map is picked up by Kiljadi, a single relic out here, and surely he would know that. Surely he'd be able to look at the minimap and say, oh my lord, there's no relics there. And often in that circumstance, you're kind of left with the decision to go into the Burgrave. But it's painful. It's really painful to go for a Burgrave Palace when you're this far behind. Or at least it feels like you're behind. The villager counts are relatively even, but, you know, Burgrave, I think of Burgrave, I think of tempo. If I'm playing Burgrave, I want to have good tempo. I want to, you know, I want to have a nice fishing economy, or I want to have my food upgrades, or have a nice little farm transition that's happened. This is a pretty decent farm transition, and you probably could have justified a Burgrave off this. We can see Crackety starting to mix it up as well, throwing out some crossbows now that he knows his enemy is in the castle age. I'm curious whether he knows about the landmark that his enemy's gone for. We did see, yes, he would, because we saw the Lancers run past this area. So he doesn't have to be particularly speedy with regard to the crossbows, but obviously the sooner the better. Spearman numbers now starting to build. Doesn't look like veteran spearmen coming through yet for Kiljadi. He's going to start to really struggle here, especially that he's had those relics stolen away from him. 4 relics. Actually, hold on. Hold your horses. Where are all the relics? Wait, what's going on right now? Oh, he's putting them in pagodas. Oh, the pagodas don't show. Oh, he rushes pagodas. Oh, my lord, 14-minute pagoda. Get out of town, Crackety. What are you doing to me? This is ludicrous. So first and foremost, it doesn't show on the UI that Crackety here has rushed pagodas. What is this Chinese gameplay? Pagoda rushing? Are you serious right now? So for anybody who's wondering why is this hype? Why is this interesting? Why is this cool? Pagoda is the unique Chinese unit that becomes available to them once they reach the Yuan dynasty. And Krakeny never stopped by in the Song dynasty. He just stayed in the Tang dynasty and then went up to the Yuan because he built these two landmarks, the astronomical clock tower together with the imperial palace. Once he built those landmarks, he unlocked this building. So what's so special about this building? Well, the reason why it's so special is because not only do you get that gold from the relic that's generated, and you get a little bit more, you actually get 100 gold a minute, you also get 50 stone, 50 wood, and 50 food. That starts to really add up. 150 stone every minute for the rest of the game? That's ludicrous. That's every 6 minutes. You're getting a free keep for the rest of the game. That's crazy. And that trickle just continues to add up for Krakeny in this position. This one TC play from Krakeny has been really impressive, and it's great to see the way that he has utilized it. Outpost going to be coming up here on the front. Crossbow spear going to be coming in from Kiljati. Needs to look for that veterancy on the spears, and it does look like he will find it now. Numbers of farms looking good here as well for Kiljati. Starting to even it up. One of the things I want to talk about or bring up is that when you're playing the Chinese, like many civs, you've got different ways that you can explore your economy. Or maybe explore is not the right term, but you can improve your economy in lots of different ways. Now, the most obvious one is through 2 TCs. He didn't go for a second TC. The next obvious one is Song Dynasty, faster villager production time. He didn't do that. The other one, granaries. You can make granaries, and those granaries can increase the gather speed of your villagers on farms. He didn't do that. He went for a super fast Imperial Academy, up to max Imperial officials, with the well, not the supervision tech, but with the extra gathering tech Imperial examinations, and then just got all of his upgrades, so he's boosting up his gold from that, and then from there went into Castle Age. It's such a smart way to play Chinese, and something that we really haven't seen explored a lot. As mentioned before, the bread and butter for Chinese has long been 2 TC Song. And to a lesser extent, 2 TC Song Fast Castle. But here, Krakeny looks to really mix things up. Do we dare see Fire Lancers? Fire Lancers, a unique Chinese unit. Not the most expensive units, but definitely the most explosive ones. We could potentially see it. Let's focus on Kiljati though. On the south side, the numbers are starting to build. I'd love to see Kiljati start to press on with a few more raids, and now it looks like he's going to be doing that. Wonderful time for him to do it. Looking to contest sacred sites as well. He's picked up the one in the south. He's going to be bringing up a prelate up towards this north side, but we can see immediately the village is going to be able to garrison. He spots it out. Prelate goes down. No chance that that is getting denied. But it does look like the sacred site will actually get denied by the knights. They will catch them. A little bit of a push now on the south side. I say a little bit, but I tell you what, there's a fair chunk of change behind this army. 18 minutes in, and you've got the steamrollers out, my friend. Take a look at this. Big rams, big parties. And now it looks like we've got ourselves a house being rushed up. I think he needs emergency repairs out here ASAP. This house should be able to get it for him. There we go. Emergency repairs comes through. And at the same time, veterancy on those spearmen did come through, managing to hold the front line. Crossbows on the back, and it looks like he should be able to hold this one for the moment. As long as that outpost stays up, you can see that he's already picked up that sprinkled in placement. Now, as long as he's able to get that fortification in through, should give him a little bit more life on this. Keep in mind, while he is fighting here, though, all of the villagers are stalled out on these farms. Knight coming through. He's looking for any kind of villagers. Not going to be able to find it at all. Back towards that base, though. Villagers looking to siege down the battering rams. Starting to lose out plenty of vills here. You can see that the worker kills is rising very quickly, up in a double digits now, as that first battering ram does go down. No textiles, unfortunately, for him. There was a bit of a raid up towards that top side. It looks like he managed to take out a couple of villagers as well in the midst of things. But now those battering rams will get taken out as the crossbow and spear combo pushes back Krakeny. This is such a great combo. I really love crossbow spear. I think it is objectively the best combo in the game. And civs that have got Culverin, in particular, it's very, very good. Just simply because Culverin are your trump card. It guarantees that you are going to win every single Springald fight, because you go Castle Age and you get yourself, or you go rather your Imperial Age and you get yourself a Culverin, and that's pretty much all she wrote. But speaking of Imperial Age, I'm not going to give you that, but I will give you a Barbican. for a Song dynasty. We've already hit the Yuan dynasty, which means that we're going to lose that movement speed. Now, keep in mind, all of these units have got extra movement speed. Take a look at this Palace Guard up at 1.58 movement speed. He's going to lose that for the rest of the game. It's back down to 1.38. So normally that's why you see people do it the other way around. Normally you see the 2TC, the Song dynasty, and then the Yuan dynasty. Once you're at like 130 vils, 140 vils, then the Yuan dynasty will come out. It's very rare that you see it done this way. But there's obviously a great reason why that has been done, and that's going to be the triple pagoda right here. I don't think I've ever seen anyone rush pagodas like this. And against a civilization like the Holy Roman Empire, so smart. So smart. We were talking before about how to beat the Holy Roman Empire. You gotta play a little bit crazy. You can't just go for that 2TC Song. And that's exactly what he did. He pulled out something a little crazy, a little rabbit out of the hat, a little bit of a lemon out of the tree. Well, actually, it was Kiljati with the lemons, wasn't it? But definitely pulled something out of the hat that I don't think many people were expecting to see. Well, you know what? I'm just thinking now. That's probably the thumbnail, isn't it? Pagoda rushing. You were probably expecting it. I'll give you that. But I wasn't expecting it. Anyway, let's ride on board with Crackety and see how he's doing in the north as that second TC has, I take it back, that third TC has now gone down. So he's gone into a triple TC. I'm confident this is quite recent. You can see him rallied out over towards this west side. So it's going to be within the last 60 seconds that this TC has been completed. Of course, now with Song Dynasty, these villagers do train very quickly. But with 3 TCs up, this is the equivalent of 4 TCs. So somewhat insulating himself against his opponent going into the Imperial Age. That's another consideration that he's going to be making at the moment. Of course, very cognizant of the Palace of Swabia. But I would note that he's just denied relics from his opponent. His opponent only has the single relic. So that threat of Imperial Age is going to be a lot lower. We can see right now only 259 gold a minute. Never feels good as a Holy Roman Empire player. See that relic tucked safely away inside the Regnitz Cathedral for the moment. Going to be providing more than half of the gold income for Kiljati, but the Knights now doing a decent job. He will scout out this second TC, so should be aware that something is up right now. Even if Kiljati was to hit Imperial right now and start villager production, Crackety is still going to be ahead. Still going to be ahead by an absolute mile. We'll maintain that 20 villager lead, but we'll also be pulling away from his opponent because typically you're only going to be making villagers out of that Palace of Swabia. You don't go from your TC as well, just because it's so much more expensive. But you'll also spot the Barbican. I don't know how much math he's doing behind there, but surely he's realizing at this point, okay, my enemy's scaling pretty big. And speaking of scaling right now, the Nest of Bees firing off the top rope. Plenty of siege out on the front line, just looking to get involved. The second Nest of Bees, didn't even see that boy in there. Look at him just hiding in amongst it. Spearman gonna look to try and stab it. Not gonna be able to find it. And that pushback now from Crackety gonna be absolutely massive. Kiljati, you know, he was thinking, I'm sure he was thinking about the prospect of Imperial Age. He saw that town center. He said, oh, town center and a Barbican. So you're in Song now as well. I can probably squeeze an Imperial Age here. But Crackety here says, no, you can't, sir. I've got quite the large army, and I am in charge of this game. Upgrades starting to come through for him as well. Looking to pick up wedge rivets here. Nice little raid on the other side of the map, though. Working numbers. Definitely quite high for Crackety. He could look to do some significant damage here. Springwood emplacements come through on the Barbican as well. So should be able to defend this relatively easily. At the same time, that push towards the front. Battering rams working down that outpost. Keep in mind, it's got the Springwood emplacement, and villagers get pulled forward. Now to repair up that nest of bees. You can see he's actually going to have to pick off the villagers if he wants to maintain, or if he wants to really threaten this nest of bees. Springwood now going to be coming up. Manages to fire off at the clock tower nest of bees. Coming back for a second shot. We'll find it, but look, the villagers just repairing here. He's got to focus down these villagers. Now looking to try and push back. Crossbow numbers are pretty decent. Springwood looking to hold as well. Nest of bees, 3 of them together. Unfortunately, it looks like for Crackety here, the defense will hold once again for Kiljati. It's down about 35 villagers at this point. A significant difference between the two. But the military numbers are holding well for Kiljati. Only a single relic to his name. And the granary is finally coming through for Crackety. 24 minutes into this game as he begins to transition into that larger food economy. Keep in mind, on a map like this, there are plenty of other ways for you to gather food. You don't have to transition into farms super duper early. When you're a civilization, though, like the Holy Roman Empire, it is always tempting, just simply because they've got such an effective transition into those farms. One of the biggest things for the Holy Roman Empire is that it's all centralized around the Ark and Chapel, but on top of that, villages that are close by, if they're gathering wood. It's very easy just to take them, deposit that wood, and then just immediately throw down a farm with that villager. Makes it really easy just to slowly transition over from villagers on wood to villagers on farm, rather. Excuse me. All right, well, Sacred Site being neutralized in the center of the map. Kiljardi going to look to push it out. It's nest of bees off the top rope. They're loving these shots. Get a cheeky little shot in and then just back on out. Look at that. He's going to bring in villagers to repair these up. But now, all of a sudden, we've got some horsemen on the loose here. Spear's going to turn around, look to try and force them back. We'll be able to do it. But now getting caught out of position by the crossbows. Springald's also getting repaired up. It looks like he's got a clock tower Springald to go up against. Beautiful micro, though, comes out. Able to keep both of them alive. But look at the nest of bees. The nest of bees just firing down at the Springald. It's down to 9 health. It's going to go down. Manages to take out one of his opponents, though. And now the archers, together with the spears, are going to be able to push this back. He needs to make sure that he just keeps kiting away. Needs more Springalds. Springalds are so important here. If he can somehow find an Imperial Age, Kiljardi could seal this game. That's going to be the most important thing here, is going to be that Imperial Age timing, because Crackety is getting further and further ahead as the game goes on. Obviously, we've talked about the fact he's got the 3 TCs, he's got the lion's share of the relics, and now he's got that huge transition into farms with the granaries coming down as well. And that really just seals the deal here when it comes to economy. So the only way Kiljardi is going to be able to catch up to this is, number 1, a Palace of Swabia, and number 2, some really good trades. And the best way that you're going to be able to do that is not with Springalds, but with Culverin. So let's see whether he goes for it. It's going to be tough. We mentioned it before with the lack of relics that he's got. So let's see how he looks to approach it. Outposts are on the front. He's got emergency repairs if he needs it. But the Springald numbers are pretty decent. The 3rd Springald is going to be enough to start one-shotting enemy siege as well, which is really strong when you're in this position. So I think right now the best thing for Kiljardi is 100% get to Imperial. But you've got to be so careful of staying alive. That's the most important thing. You do not want to die. Keep in mind, all of your farming economy is towards the front of your base as well. The consequence of going for this 10 out of 10 Archon Chapel is that when the front falls, so does your food economy. So it really needs to get out there. But let's talk a little bit about Crackety. Let's see how he's doing. As on the north of the map, his base just continues to balloon in size. Outpost coming up. I do like this just addition of an outpost or 2 here and there. Makes it really nice here for Crackety. Guarantees that those villagers will stay alive if the raids come in a little bit too close to home. Keep over on the east side. We talked about the fact earlier that by having these relics, and there, speaking of raids, look at that, coming in immediately. Just make sure all those villagers are staying alive. Beautifully done by Crackety. But earlier we spoke about the fact that these pagodas are bringing in 50 stone each. That's every 6 minutes, you've got 900 stone, which is enough to throw down your keep. So you're getting a free keep every 6 minutes. And that right there, that's the free keep. That's it. Look, 150 stone. He's just picked up another 150 stone. He hasn't even mined stone since that 2nd town, or I guess that 3rd TC, realistically. It is just easy for him right now. He's living the good life. I'm curious, actually, did he even gather stone? Has the madman even gathered stone at this point? Stone in his base, 1200. That's his starting stone. I don't even think he's gathered stone. He's literally just paid for these TCs through the relics, through the pagodas. Right up towards the north side. Monk going to be moving off it. More knights towards that backside. Looks like Crackety going to be losing villagers here. He's already lost quite a few workers this game. Now towards the front of the base. It's a bit of an opening. Crackety thinking about Imperial himself. Palace of Swabia coming up. Only 9 villagers throwing down the Swabia. Normally you see about 30 villagers on this bad boy. They want to get it down as quickly as possible, but a little bit of a delay here. Doing a really good job with these raids, though. These raids are designed to prevent Crackety from pushing in. So now that the age ups happen, you should immediately see Crackety begin to push down towards Kiljardi. The most important thing here for Kiljardi is going to be a Culverin and Roller Shutter triggers. Let's look to see how many Springalds does he actually have. It looks like he's got 4 out. So Roller Shutter triggers here is 100% worth it. And that's exactly where he's going to be going. Immediately after that, you need to be going into the Culverin. So important. And then you also want to be looking for elite upgrades here. So you can go into something like elite spears. Really good for your reinforcements, because a lot of your economy is food based, and when you're spending all those resources, all that gold on siege and upgrades, you don't really have much gold left for something like a crossbow. So going into elite spears is really good here. Let's see if he goes into it. He's going into elite crossbows, which is actually a great choice as well. But now that keep is going to be coming out, denying quite a bit of this farmland here, and Kiljardi going to be in a little bit of a tough spot. He looks to try and defend. Spear numbers have improved for his opponent. Looks like the upgrade's about to come through. We hear the Nest of Bees firing down, but it's only going to be on buildings. When the keep comes up, you are going to be in absolute strife. Roller Shard of Triggers has now arrived, and you can see him firing off towards those Nest of Bees. Not even going to be a discussion in there. He's going to be careful not to lose them out to the melee units. You can see he's grouped up all together here. As long as he's able to keep these Springalds alive, he's going to be absolutely fine, and now firing off towards those range units. Second Springald goes down as well. This is starting to look a little bit sour for Kiljardi. Everything has gone absolutely terribly for him on that age up, and that's one of the most dangerous points of your game, is when you age up. And you can see that he's out of wood right now. Resources not looking terrible for him, but it's balancing out towards that crossbow. So now he needs to get a keep up, or rather now he needs to deal with the keep that his opponent has put in his base. He's got access to the bombard, and that's exactly what he looks to put in queue right now. A second to go on that bad boy, so I'm not even fussed right now if I'm Kiljardi. I think this is absolutely fine for him to hold. The main issue that he's got is just the fact that he's down on relics. This has really started to add up this entire game. If we say that 10 minutes into the game, Crackety picked up his 3 relics, you're talking about 20 minutes of resources that Crackety's got over Kiljardi in this situation. That's a huge difference. That is a massive difference. A little bit of a raid on this south side as well. Crossbowman deciding to push towards that position. At the same time, it looks like we might have trouble as the bombard gets caught. All of the units going to be looking to try and keep it down. Villagers a little bit too late to the party, and the bombard goes down. And with that, Kiljardi's left with not a lot of options. He's going to be going once again for another bombard. He's going to have to wait another 45 seconds until it's out. Keep in mind the whole time the keep is just keeping this economy idle. A lot of Ks in there, a lot of keeps in there. I appreciate that, but you guys know. I know you guys love alliteration. Villagers continuing to go down. They're both taking out 36 workers apiece here, but that obviously benefits Crackety as he's got 3 TCs. Obviously, his opponent now up to the Palace of Swabia as well, so doesn't really mind that much. But ideally, you want to be hitting that 130 villager mark as quickly as you possibly can. And that's not going to be happening if you're losing villagers to these crossbowmen. Horsemen, though, should be able to clean this one up. Kiljardi, 20 crossbows. These guys have got their elite upgrades now. And a wall going to be coming up over on that west side. A little bit of a weird one, though. Not sure exactly what this is all about. Villagers, once again, getting caught. Pressure on the front. Spirit Way coming in. There's the age up. Age up now comes through for Crackety, and look at this. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. 12 barracks getting thrown down. So many villagers here. You guys know what it is. It is going to be those palace guards. Those deadly palace guards coming out. Look at the upgrades as well. We've got Fire Lancer upgrades, Palace Guard health. We've got Palace Guard elite status coming through. This is the dream late game for the Chinese. Those fully upgraded melee units. You don't even have to look. You just A move. You're playing Protoss at that point, and it feels so good. 1A. It's lovely. It's lovely. Second one goes down. Third one's going to be going down right there. And the Fire Lancer's just way too strong, cleaning up that siege. And now we're in this bit of this tough position. Because Kiljardi, once again, he is up shit creek without a paddle. AKA he's up dealing with this keep without a bombard. A fair bit of damage was done on it. He's going to look to try and siege it down. But remember, this is the Chinese keep. This bad boy got buffed recently. I say buffed. I mean, I think the devs called it a nerf, but for the Chinese, it definitely felt like it was a bit of a buff. You can see just how quickly it slices through there, but now the Elite Fire Lancers have come out, and Good Game's going to get called. He's not even going to bother with it. He knows that when the Elite Fire Lancers show up, that is all she wrote. Fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Just remember an hour after this video goes live, check out EGC TV. Make sure you check out these 2 creators as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.